You need to be a guy that's worth marrying. I think that's the thing that we're missing in the church and in culture. Young men are so focused on finding the one that they never look in the mirror and realize they're not the one for anyone else. All right, guys, howdy and welcome. Today, I want to talk about the 4 lessons I learned marrying Mark Driscoll's daughter. So marrying Ashley, my wife, it was a 6-year journey of pursuing her. It was not an easy one. She lived in a different country. I lived in a different state. We moved multiple times. We went to different colleges, all kinds of things. We met in high school, got married when we were 22 and 23, but a lot happened in between. And God taught me so much as a man as I pursued her. The verse where we're called to love our wife as Christ loved the church. I learned that the church rejects Christ quite a bit. And it was incredibly difficult for me as a young man. Pursuing Ashley, I would drive 5 hours to come see her for a weekend at her church that she was at. I want to talk today about the things I learned through that process. So number 1, you need to become a good man before you get married. Every guy is thinking that marriage is your starting line. All of a sudden, I'm going to be a man of character once I get married. Nope. You need to be a man of character before you get married. You need to be a man that when you're pursuing a woman is getting better and better. You have a job. You are investing in things. You're investing in relationships. That's really important. A lot of guys are spending no time working on themselves. They're just hoping to drop a fishing hook in the water and catch a woman. And you need to be a guy that's worth marrying. And I think that's the thing that we're missing in the church and in culture is young men are so focused on finding the one that they realize that they never look in the mirror and realize they're not the one for anyone else. Young men need to be far harsher on themselves, work on who they are becoming. Stop focusing on finding this woman that's going to align perfectly with you when you're living with your parents, playing video games, and just going to church on Sunday. You need to be more than that. You need to go do an internship. You need to volunteer in kids ministry. You need to find some mentors. You need a good group of guys that are around you and are encouraging you to be better men. If you're looking at porn, you need to stop. If you're playing video games all night, you need to stop. You need to go to bed early, wake up early, go to the gym, work a job, invest in friendships, invest in relationships, and serve a lot. When I was dating Ashley, I had 2 full-time jobs. And I was volunteering at our church, and I still had time to pursue and date her. But a young man that's not busy is a young man that can get into a lot of trouble. I did not leave much room or time to get in trouble. I was flipping cars, I was working 2 jobs, and I was volunteering all the rest of my time. When you're busy and exhausted as a young man, that's the best thing for you. So become a great man before you get married. So that you are the one for somebody. You want somebody to be so proud they're dating and getting married to you. You don't want to just feel like, wow, I snagged her. She was way out of my league. Dude, you need to try to be the kind of guy where she's like, man, I've not met another man like him. Be a guy that's not like everyone else. Work really hard, submit to some authority. You can be different. That was something I learned. I had a lot of time in between meeting Ashley and feeling like I was supposed to marry her and marrying her. So become a great man. Leave before you cleave. You need to move out at some point of your parents' house and be prepared to get married. So rent somewhere, move in with a buddy, pay your own utilities, pay your own insurance, buy your own groceries, meal prep, iron your clothes, do laundry, whatever you need to do to leave and cleave. The big thing is leaving so that there's all these man skills you'll never learn if you go from your mom's house to your wife's house. And we accidentally slip into letting our wife be our mom and figure out our utilities, figure out cleaning our clothes, figure out our dishes, figure out all these things that, yeah, there's roles in marriage and there's support. And if you're working a job and your wife's not, then yeah, she probably will do the dishes or help meal prep for you that week, those kind of things. But you don't want to be a man that is incapable of taking care of themselves. I'm very dependent on my wife. I need her for so much, but I at least was able to show her that I could live on my own and be a respectable man that obviously needed to get married. It is not good for a man to be alone, but you need to be okay being alone. And if the time when you're alone between your parents and your wife, you are playing video games, watching porn, not working a job, and just being a slob, you're probably not the kind of guy that you shouldn't be marryable. You need to work out. You need to have discipline. You need to work a job, and you need to be able to take care of your life, have dominion over your life. So many young men aren't willing to do that they can live in their parents' house and seem great, but once they're out on their own, there's a lot of things to figure out. There's a lot of firsts that happen. Oh, if I don't have dishes, I can't eat off of anything that's not paper. And it's okay to just eat off of paper, but there's so many gaps that are there that if you do that, you take that time, even if it's 6-8 months to live on your own before getting married, it will benefit you greatly. Loving a woman like Christ loved the church, being selfless. Love is not self-seeking. I wrote that verse in 1 Corinthians down every day for like 8 months. I was having like panic attacks pursuing my wife because she would break up with me as friends. She was like, we can't talk anymore. I know I asked you to drive from San Diego to hang out with me in Arizona, but we're done being friends. And I was like, oh my gosh, but I feel like God's called me to marry you. This is very confusing. And through that process, it taught me what it means to love somebody selflessly. It's not loving somebody because they make out with you. It's loving them because God called me to. And that's what marriage is. Marriage is a series of days and months and years strung together for the rest of your life, where you need to be called to marry and love that person. It is a decision you make every day. It's not a feeling that's just going to happen. Lust is a feeling that just happens. And if your whole life is led by lust, you will get married and then you will lust after someone else. And then you will blow up your marriage and blow up your kids. So lust is not a good way to get into marriage. Love and selfless love, biblical love, is how you should get into marriage. And learning to pursue a woman at a deeper level than just feelings is very, very important. God will teach you that. If it doesn't feel like dating's coming easy for you or relationships are coming easy, ask yourself, what is God trying to teach me in this season? Because he may be trying to teach you about what it means to actually love a woman like Christ loved the church. That's not just a fun little saying you put up on a wall. It's what marriage is the rest of your life. And I don't know about you, but when I look at how the church treats Christ, it's not great all the time. And the church rejects Christ and the church disrespects Christ. But that doesn't mean Christ doesn't love the church and doesn't pursue the church and isn't there for the church. So be very careful to not just let your whole relationship be emotion driven and lust driven, because that is not something that'll sustain you for the next 50 years. So in a relationship and a marriage, women need to feel safe and secure. Men need to feel respected. Women need to feel safe and secure. All of this stuff I'm getting at is to make you a man that brings security to a woman. And when you are a boy who hasn't left their parents' house, hasn't taken on a responsibility, hasn't kicked their porn habit, you're not somebody that's going to make a woman feel safe. So you need to slay those dragons in your life. You need to challenge yourself. You need to make your life harder so that when you meet the woman of your dreams that God's called you to marry, you are the kind of guy that brings her safety and security. You're the kind of guy she knows is going to show up. She knows you're going to get up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, be back for a devotional and breakfast with her, and then work a job all day. And she's not worried about you talking to other women at the job. You're there to provide for your family. And then you come home, you eat dinner with her, and you have a kind of boring, godly life. You're not needing to go do guys' nights every Friday night and do sleepovers and whatever the heck society's telling guys to do these days. You're kind of a dependable, boring man. And that's awesome in marriage. Being a guy she can rely on can be a little boring, but that's a healthy marriage. She knows that if somebody breaks into your house in the middle of the night, you're the guy that's going to stop it. She knows that if you lose your job, you're going to still provide. You're a hustler. She knows that you may not have your whole career figured out, but you're a winner. You're the kind of guy that's going to figure out how to win no matter what season you're in. But if you don't become that kind of guy now, you won't be that guy later. So show a woman that you're dependable, that you're secure, that you're safe, but that takes work. So encourage you today, go do the work, go do the hard stuff now so that marriage, you have momentum heading into marriage and you can show the woman, you attract the right woman who wants that and wants to support that and wants to follow you.